crazy that it's May already.
May was supposed to bring us flowers, but now it's bringing us spam.
Hello everybody, welcome again to Keystone Film Review. We just saw Fast X.
Go and give it to you.
Directed by Louis Leterrier, written by Dan Mazu, Justin Lin, and others. Starring Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, Jason Statham, Jordana Brewster, Tyrese Gibson, Luda, Chris, Natalie Emanuel, Charlize Theron, John Cena, Sung Kang, Helen Mirren, Brie Larson, Scott Eastwood, Jason Zesty Momoa, Alan Richardson, and others. This is, I believe it's the 10th one, if not the title's misleading.
It is the 10th of the Fast franchise, and there's at least one spin-off.
And the 4th one where it was advertised as one final ride. I don't know why they keep doing that. No one believes them. Like, you're not selling more tickets, especially in our theater. There's only like 6 people in the biggest auditorium in King of Prussia. I think it would be an injustice to go forward in this review without mentioning I've only seen 3 of them. I've seen this one, including this one, the one with the plane that takes like 15 minutes to take off, and then the one with the skyscraper and the car jumps the skyscraper. I don't know what numbers those are.
Did you not watch the first one?
No.
Really?
I really could not give a shit about cars.
First one's the only one that matters.
That's what I hear, but like I could not give a shit about cars. I do not care about cars, do not care about racing. The closest I've ever gotten to caring about cars is being sad about Dale Earnhardt dying. And that was just because it was a tragedy, not because of cars.
Yeah.
If you're a Fast and Furious fan, do not listen to anything I say. I mean, maybe just to see an outsider's perspective, but I am not here as a Fast and Furious fan. What about you, Glenjamin?
I have seen all the way up until, I think, 8. At 7, I think, is when I finally called it quits, because I was like, I cannot keep watching these because my IQ is already so low.
Yeah. We were just looking at a meme that said, when did you realize that the Fast and Furious franchise just got rid of reality altogether? Neither of us are really big Fast and Furious fans. As long as my car gets from A to B, I don't really care what kind of car it is.
That's how I feel. I wash my car sometimes.
But where do we think this movie falls as far as a good movie or a bad movie?
I had no plans for this movie, no expectations, nothing. Didn't really want to see it, but we kind of had to this week because we kind of saw everything else, and nothing came out this weekend. I was somewhat surprised, to be honest. There's one main factor on why I was surprised, and it's your factor too. This movie's mentally insane.
Yes.
In every aspect that you can get.
As I've come to expect from the Fast and Furious franchise.
It's there, it's in its blood, it's in its family, it's there. The one saving grace, honestly, was Jason Momoa, and honestly, to me, I wasn't expecting anything from him. And he pulled through. He
chewed so much scenery.
Yeah.
They probably thought they had a rodent problem. He was fucking hilarious. He was, if he was not the way he was in this movie and took himself way too seriously or took the role way too seriously, this would have been a disaster of a movie. Because anytime he wasn't on screen, time came to a screeching halt. Even if there was action going on, if he wasn't on screen, it was the slowest fucking movie in the world, even if there was fighting and racing and all that.
It was the only thing that didn't feel cookie cutter within the last at least 6 Fast movies.
Yeah.
He was the only one that didn't feel like, oh, Ludacris is a genius, the chick from Game of Thrones is a genius, Tyrese Gibson's a moron, but he's good at driving. All that felt cookie cutter. Family, yada, boom, explosions,
Family.
car race, breaking the laws of physics. All of that feels like we've been watching it for God knows how long. He's the only thing that felt like it was new.
It was fresh.
It was
It was fresh.
in some sort of way.
My favorite thing about his character, you said it, so all credit to Glenn. About like 20, 30 minutes left, Glenn leaned over and it was just like, it's like Dominic Toretto as Batman and Jason Momoa as the Joker. And that is so fucking spot on.
It's so weird.
So spot on.
Weirdly, yeah, because
He's wearing like purple all the time too.
He's wearing purple all the time. Dom was just walking around sleeveless, but with like black. Everything was black, and he's dark and brooding. And then you got Jason Momoa, who's just a villain and zesty as can be.
So zesty.
And just he's got backup plan after backup plan. If they did it intentionally, God, somebody needs some sort of at least participation award, because
A for effort.
holy shit, the dynamic was crazy. If they meant to do that, Jesus.
Yeah.
It worked. It was fantastic because fucking Dominic Toretto is a goddamn superhero at this point. The guy, he did not have a fucking scratch on him the whole time.
None of the good guys
Not
did.
even a broken nail.
None of the good guys ever had a scratch.
The durability on these fuckers is insane.
The closest was a certain someone getting shot. I think you said it was a 50 caliber. I don't know guns. But it was a big gun, whatever
This dude
it was.
had a 50 caliber sniper and shot somebody in the shoulder.
Just a little-
and it looked like maybe a 9mm bullet entered their torso should have been torn in half.
Yes. Well, I don't know. I don't know guns. Probably, maybe.
Or at least
the arm.
At least this area should have somewhat exploded.
The parts with Jason Momoa were way more fun than I thought, but then the rest of it was so bad that it really, in my mind, didn't make up for it. Yes, Jason Momoa was better than I thought he would be. His parts were better than I thought it would be. But he's honestly maybe in it for a third of the movie, and that's being generous. So, like, the rest of it, where it's following all these characters I could not give a fuck about. I'm sure Fast and Furious fans would disagree, and that's fine. But for someone who's not a fan, I couldn't give a fuck about any of them. So it was just made it extremely boring. There was one moment, like a long stretch without Jason Momoa, where I thought like for sure 30 minutes had passed, and I checked my phone, it was only 15 minutes. Like, Jesus Christ. That is so bad with pacing. It has a lot of elements that like would be more fun, and then they just abandon them. Like, there's this part where a certain character eats a muffin that has drugs in it. The 5 to 10 second gag, and then it's gone.
The drugs kick in for a minute and a half span. They kick in,
and then they're gone in 30 seconds.
That's not how edibles work, and it's literally gone by the next scene.
Gone in 60 seconds, starring Nick Cage. I haven't seen that either because it's Cars.
It's a good movie too.
I'll take your word for it.
John Cena was the closest thing to Jason Momoa, and he did have a little stretch where he had some fun scenes.
Yeah.
But he was not utilized enough. Other than this fucking pun intended, this movie's just wild ride.
It is a very wild ride. Obviously, no one's expecting this to be a logical film. Takes a lot of logical leaps. It is fun for me personally to point out the logical leaps. I'm not trying to be like smarter than this movie. I just have fun doing it. I know it's not. It's just trying to be mindless fun. But
you gotta turn the brain off.
You gotta turn the brain off, but I do have fun keeping the brain on and just point it like that doesn't make any fucking sense. It's how I enjoy these movies. I know that, that's not how everyone enjoys these, and that's fine. Everyone can enjoy however they want. But for me to stay sane, I had to point out everything wrong with the movie. And there's just so much. It's such a bonkers movie. It is fun for the most part, especially Jason Momoa. He's zesty. He's a zesty quesarito. This franchise isn't for me. Legitimately would have not seen it had it not been the only thing that came out this week. But I don't hate that I watched it.
Yeah, it was a time. It's just crazy to me that Vin Diesel has created his own superhero franchise.
I can't hate the guy for doing the only thing that he can do. Oh, I don't want to say that. I don't know enough about Vin Diesel to know how talented he is.
If there's a cash grab there, I do not blame him for snagging the whole bucket on
Yeah.
Halloween, you know?
Yeah. I'd do it, but I'd have higher standards and thus probably make less money.
I mean, it's, again, like we talked about last week with James Gunn, you know, making movies for the people he cares about. In a way, it's kind of the same for this.
Yeah. They got their fan base. They know how to please them.
Yep.
That's, you know, I can't fault them for that. The only thing that bothers me is this whole theme of family. I mentioned this in the Guardians of the Galaxy thing. They really don't feel like a family other than like the blood related ones. And even then, it's just like, it's forced. It feels like their chemistry of all the family, it feels like test footage where they're like trying to get a read of their chemistry and it's just going miserably. No one really has really good chemistry except for maybe Ludacris and Tyrese. Tyrese. They have pretty good chemistry because, I mean, they're thrown in together all the time. But then everyone else doesn't really have any chemistry with each other. So it doesn't feel like a family like Guardians of the Galaxy does. So I joked last week, it feels like, you know, how corporations say that they're family just to justify paying you less. And it really does feel like that. I don't understand. I know it's just a meme at this point, but like I don't even understand how it started. Because it doesn't feel like family.
My favorite character is Han. Because he could give a fuck less what's going on. He's just along.
Yeah.
He's just strolling with him.
You know, I worked at the theater, so I've seen the ending a lot of the Fast and Furious movies. I remember when he died, the next two movies, like, didn't mention him at all. Yeah. And that's when it was just like, you're not family. And then my favorite one that shows that this whole family thing is just bullshit. Michelle Rodriguez turns her back on family, and then in the very next movie says, "You don't turn your back on family." You fucking did last movie, Michelle Rodriguez.
She didn't have any memory.
Well, then you know what? She still turned her back on family. I don't give a shit.
She did, yeah.
Yeah. So you can turn your back on family. Yes, it has to alter your mind, but you still turn your back on family.
Yeah. For the most part, enjoyed this movie way more than I thought I would. Thank you to Jason Momoa for doing that in every sort of way. Without him in it, I probably would have hated this movie. I had fun with the movie, but I probably would have just not liked it that much. Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say I loved it a lot or liked it a lot more than I thought I would. I liked it more than I thought it would, but not a lot more.
Yeah.
Ratings?
3. Because we had a lot of fun with it, and Momoa stole the show.
Yeah. I would say 2. But it would have been a half a star if it weren't for Jason Momoa. Wow. So he bumped it up a star and a half.
Time, yeah.
So yeah. Again, we are not really the key demographic for these movies. So if you love this movie, I'm so glad. I really do not want people to stop liking things that they like. I just have to give my opinion, and this is my opinion. You're the same way. But yeah, if you saw Fast X, tell us what you thought down in the comments below. What is the most unbelievable part of the franchise? What part made you laugh the most too? That, for me, it was seeing the wedding picture where he's wearing a tank top. That was just hilarious. It's gorgeous. But yes, let us know down in the comments all those things, and we will see you in the next video.
Baby.
Guten Abend. Here's the chair, I promise.